The JW Org 2024 annual meeting, a private meeting that's held all over the earth, about 150,000 or plus people attend or see it. But out of the 8.8 million rank and file Jehovah's Witnesses, they don't get the opportunity to see this meeting in advance. So here we are, we're going to show you some advanced clips on this meeting. And this particular clip is about our Anointed charts. It shows it all, growth. So we're going to listen in as Jeffrey Jackson talks a little bit about the Anointed and how their charts are. They're going to show us some charts. You know, don't you like to see charts? I remember back in the day when I was a JW, they had yearbooks, annual yearbooks, and right in the middle, you could open it up and you could see pretty much everything. You know, all the growth, and they did a lot of detail. So they have the ability to show some pretty good charts. We know that, us old timers, because we've seen it. But recently, I don't know. I'll let you decide. Let's look at the first bit. They're going to do a recap, and they're going to show us that there's been gradual changes. So they're preparing the audience for more changes. Of course, the apostates are doing their work in Norway. Norway canceled them as a charitable organization, so they no longer get the funding. That's about it. And they can practice, do what they want, but they just don't get the money. All over the earth, they're fighting for the money. And they're being challenged country after country. They're in court country after country. New Zealand, they're waiting for apologies. Well, all the CSA victims that have been covered up just in that one country. Australia started it. It's case number 29 if you're interested. It's long. And Jeffrey Jackson got up and he says, we're not it. We're not the governing body, or we're not the ones, you know, it. That would be presumptuous to say that we're it. You know, he said that in a matter of words. We've all seen that, but we're going to listen to Jeffrey Jackson with the beard. This is like he has two parts in this annual meeting. They really like his beard. So we're going to listen to him for a little bit, and he's going to talk about the changes, and I sped it up, 1.5, and we're going to listen to him talk about these changes, what's going on in the org. I'll slow it down when we get to him, but they're not showing all the changes. Just so you know, I'll fill you in right now, but you can fill yourself in as you watch it. They missed the beards. Why didn't they show that? They missed no ties. Sisters can wear slacks. These are huge changes that they've just made in this last year. So many changes. And again, we ask why? Is the light getting brighter? They're actually not saying it's light anymore. They're just saying changes. This is just as how it is. Gradual changes. He's going on and on about how gradual changes are normal. And before this, I'm not going to play the whole thing, but he goes on to talk about how gradually we've accepted homosexuality. Gradually we've accepted people living together. Gradually we've accepted all these changes in the world, and the world today is not the same as it is yesterday. So he's talking about all these gradual changes. Why? Because he wants to justify their prophetic changes, their gradual prophetic changes, because they are throwing out prophecy to you and I as the rank and file. And we're believing it. And then they're all of a sudden, oh, we were wrong. All those years we were wrong. Now, those in Sodom and Gomorrah, you know, they have a chance. They have a resurrection chance. And then he goes on to talk about different resurrections to judgment and so on and so forth. So here we go.
What changes have we seen with regard to our understanding of Bible teachings? At the 2021 annual meeting, we received an adjusted understanding of John 5:29. It was explained that the resurrection of judgment will not be a judgment of condemnation. Rather, it will be more like a period of probation. The unrighteous mentioned at Acts 24:15 will have an opportunity to gain everlasting life, but their names will not be written in the book of life at the time of their resurrection. To have their names eventually written in that book, these ones will need to respond positively to the great educational work that will take place during the 1,000-year reign. Then, at the annual meeting in 2023, we gained enhanced insight into what we do know and what we don't know concerning Jehovah's judgments. We learned that the door of opportunity for people to take a stand for the kingdom does not shut when the Great Tribulation starts with the destruction of false religion. At that time, Perhaps some will be like the Egyptians in Moses' day, who took a last-minute stand and joined the exodus of God's people. At the same annual meeting, we adjusted our views with regard to Jehovah's judgments of those who died in the flood and those who were destroyed in Sodom and Gomorrah. Also at that annual meeting, an adjustment was made regarding the reporting of our time and activity in our preaching work. Instead of focusing on reports, we try to make good use of every opportunity to witness. Then we received the 2024 Governing Body Update, number 2. In that update, we saw the need to adjust how we interact with those who have committed serious sins and have been removed from the congregation. What other major adjustments have we recently seen? In our preaching work, the emphasis now is on starting Bible studies and making disciples, not on distributing literature. To that end, the focus is on starting meaningful conversations, not just on using memorized presentations. Were you surprised by these adjustments? Perhaps so. But as we look back, we see how one adjustment in understanding gradually helped us with the next adjustment. Isn't it?
So you notice they're calling these adjustments, not new light, but adjustments. And they're getting the audience prepared for more adjustments as time goes on. Now, as you noticed, he recapped this. He missed the beards, missed all the adjustments, the important ones, I think. You know, a couple of years ago, you're wearing a beard, you'd lose all your privileges. That's a pretty serious adjustment. But now they just brush it off, and he's wearing his own beard. Just, you know, so these are the telltale signs for anyone out there to know that you're following a man. You're following a man's organization. And when we look at JW.org, it's really the golden calf. And it's where all the rules are, and everything's in JW.org. Even the Elders book says that you can seek out guidance from the Bible, but you have to obey the faithful and discreet slave. It says that right in the beginning. So we know that this is the golden calf. The faithful slave are the 11 men that assemble it. And that's how this organization works. So we're going to go on to see a little bit more on some of these changes and how he presents this to the audience.
Isn't it true that gradually Jehovah has prepared us? And when we look back on it, we see how logical this training has been to refine our understanding. But events in the world likewise have changed. It's true, sometimes in the world you have sudden changes, for example, the pandemic. But oftentimes, change in the world is gradual. Isn't it true with regard to the view of morality, homosexuality, abortion, even what's acceptable and not acceptable with regard to conduct? All of that has happened gradually in the world. And it's not until you look back and see how different the world is today with regard to those matters that we see that there have been a lot of changes. But this can be dangerous because as things gradually change, we may get used to gradual change and forget that there are some sudden changes about to occur.
Okay, so he goes on to open up the Bible to Luke and talk to the audience about sudden changes, instant changes. And you see where he's going. You know, there's been all these gradual changes, and even the changes, you know, the lackadaisical attitude for disfellowship ones. You know, you can kind of hop in at the end. That's what they said in 2023. So now I think they have a lot of people not showing up. A lot of people thinking, well, I'll hop in at the end if it looks like they're the true religion. That's what a lot of people are thinking. So a lot of people maybe are trying to zoom in and not go to the meetings, and they have a lackadaisical attitude. So now they have to make it look like there's going to be something instant. And you can do that easily with the Bible. So this is what they're doing. It's a good sleight of hand, a good trick, I think. And instantly that day is going to be upon you. So here's the warning, here's the threat, this is the fear that they're putting into their members. Watch out for it, because here it is. Let's listen in to Jeffrey.
Now, this is an example of sudden change. In Luke chapter 21, notice there in verse 34, the words of our Lord Jesus are recorded, and he said in verse 34, "But pay attention to yourselves, that your hearts never become weighed down with overeating and heavy drinking and anxieties of life, and suddenly, that they be instantly upon you. It's interesting to note that Jesus had already said that this day he was referring to would occur at a time that we don't think is likely. So what lesson do we learn from what Jesus said? It's a warning, isn't it? That we can't just sit back and think, well, things are gradually going to develop. We know which way it's going, and maybe it's not going to happen yet. We've got a little bit more wiggle room there with regard to the schedule. But you see, that's dangerous thinking. Now, what we're going to do is consider two examples of areas where perhaps we could be a little guilty with regard to that.
Now, he's going to try to tie these two together, and I don't think they tie in together. I can't see the feeling. Why would you feel guilty for thinking something about the anointed, the number, wondering about the number of the anointed or whatever? Why would that make you feel guilty? Why should there be the feeling of guilt? Let's listen in. He's going to explain this feeling of guilt, but how does that tie in with what he just said? I don't know, like the instantly and the sudden and the gradual changes and the instant and the sudden, and all of a sudden we're going to feel guilty. So you see what's going on, folks? If you want to control people, and one of the governing body members have said this, if you want to control people, you use fear. Everyone knows that. People that sell security systems use fear. They use these images of people being broken into and burglars breaking into your house while you're sound asleep in bed. Is that not fear? It is. And then everyone buys up the alarm systems. You see, they're doing the same thing. They're now saying, last year they said, hey, take your time. A lot of people, you could come right in at the end. And that didn't work good for their numbers. We're going to look at their charts in a bit here. But it didn't work good, I almost guarantee you. And so this year, they got to put the fear into the people. So they're putting the fear into you that it's instantly, just like Jesus said, it's going to happen instantly, like the virus happening instantly, not gradual, not like all of our changes were gradual. It's going to be instant. And I don't know how those two tie in either. All of their changes gradual, and then he gets on to the fear thing about it being instant and sudden. And now he's making us feel guilty. What's he going to make us feel guilty for? Well, let's listen in.
For example, our view with regard to the number of anointed ones remaining on the earth. Now, for many years, what did we think? We thought, well, that number would go down and down and down and down. Now, I don't know about you, but me, when that report came out, just how many partakers? And what were we thinking? Well, probably...
Okay, so I'm going to get off the screen here in a bit, or I'm going to move my image up. But this is the chart. This is the chart. So I hope you guys take a close look at the numbers. This is the decline. Now, for many years when I was a JW, it was declining. The numbers were going down. He's correct in what he's saying, but where's the years, where's the dates, and where's the numbers on the chart? It seems like JW.org, they have the ability to produce some of the most amazing charts like they used to in the old yearbooks. But now, this is what we get. We get this. Let's listen in as he talks more about this.
Maybe we didn't say it, but we were thinking, the number will go down, 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 and there'll be just a couple of old guys in a wheelchair who will get their reward. Well, I'm exaggerating, but that was sort of the feeling, wasn't it? But now, what have we seen in recent?
And he's correct. That was the feeling. When I was at JW, we felt that it was just a bunch of old guys in Bethel. There was only like 7,000 anointed on earth, 7,900 maybe or something. And they're all dying off, and numbers just going to zilch right out. That's what I thought. So apparently not. Let's see what happens.
Years. Those numbers have gone up and up. And not only that, younger brothers have been appointed on the government.
So he's saying in recent years the numbers went up. So I'm going to get off the screen here, and let's just watch the chart. He's going to show us their magical chart.
Those numbers have gone up and up. And not only that, younger brothers have been appointed on the governing body. Now, I know what you're all thinking. 2 new ones, how old are they? We know. You're not Googling now, but you will be. But you see, we need to be careful about what we're thinking with regard to the number of anointed ones left on earth. You see, 19 years ago, I was appointed on the governing body. Even I thought I was too young. Now they tell me I'm not so young anymore. But do we see the point? What does the Bible actually tell us with regard to this? Well, it doesn't say the number would just dwindle down to just having a few older ones left. No. The great crowd of other sheep will be judged on the basis of how they deal with Christ's brothers.
So here's their charts. They're going to show some more of their magical charts. I'll just move down on the screen, I guess, for this chart. But here's this chart. It's showing the great crowd and how the numbers are going up for the great crowd. He's going to talk about that. But, you know, I guess what I'm trying to illustrate here is here's a $1 trillion organization, and this is the kind of charts they're showing their people about their anointed ones, when they have the full ability to show the real numbers and years and dates and everything. Let's just listen in to see this organization at work.
So that means the faithful and discreet slave, as well as all the anointed throughout the earth, will continue to be active in doing the work and wanting and needing your support, right up until the time that suddenly they will be reassigned. And isn't that?
I thought, wow. Let's go back. There's the chart. Suddenly they will be reassigned. When my good wife seen this, she was wondering, what does this mean? Well, we all know that this is referring to Armageddon. You see where the line drops? That's Armageddon. Suddenly everyone's reassigned at Armageddon. And that's really what this is about. The numbers are going up for these anointed. You see, there's their numbers. There's their chart just below me here. And over there, yeah. So if you look over there, the numbers are going up. That's recent, right? The numbers are going up. That's the best I can do for you. We're going to go to JW.org, see if we can really pull in some numbers. So let's move on and listen to him some more. I'll move down here, I guess. Okay.
And isn't that what Matthew 24, verse 31 says? There'll be a gathering, the final gathering of the anointed from all different parts of the earth. So for us to think, well, there's some new ones on the governing body, they don't look too old. Maybe we've got a little bit extra time. No. Jehovah is making sure that the faithful and discreet slave is continuing to work and is effective right up until that time of reassignment. So that's one subject. The second subject we'd like to talk about.
Okay, well, that brings an end to their charts. So that's the subject on the charts. I hope you enjoyed that. That's kind of what they show at the annual meetings. You think there's something secret there, that you're going to see some numbers. No numbers. No real charts. It's like a kindergarten has taken a red pen and kind of drew the red pen to make this chart. Like, this is pathetic. These guys should be embarrassed of producing stuff like this. So let's move forward and let's take a look at some real charts. Well, what did you learn from the 2024 annual meeting and the increase in anointed ones? That wonderful chart that he showed us. What did you learn? Well, I'll tell you what I learned. I learned that they want to hide the numbers and that they got a problem. And if we go back to when this organization started with Russell, they were all anointed. So all we have to do is start doing the math. And then they give us this lame back in 2021 that these ones that are going to be resurrected are going to be resurrected to judgment, and there will be 1,000 years of judgment before they get the reward. What's that going to be after the 1,000 years? I'm not sure, but these anointed ones that JW Org has slated, they get to bypass the judgment period that us rank and files would normally have to go down the 1,000-year road reign. Well, they get to bypass that, go directly to heaven. Yeah, they get to go directly to heaven. They get that reward. So this is what they were showing us back in 2021. But this, to make this all work, they had to use Greber's Bible. And I did some videos on Greber's Bible. It's how they had to make the 144,000 work, that Jesus would prepare a place in heaven in 1914. You see, the real Bible, the King James Bible, shows that that didn't happen. Jesus went right to heaven, and as soon as he died, it was all opened up. The evildoer went with him, and all those apostles, everyone else. See, what happens to all the apostles? Are they going to get resurrected to earth and they have to be judged? You see the way their thing works? They have some problems with their whole doctrine of this 144,000 being literal. You see, all the other Bibles call it elect, the elect. It's just, I don't know what the elect are, but they call it the elect. They don't call it the anointed. I went to dig some numbers out, and I wanted to see what kind of a problem they do have. How many anointed are there today? I went to their site. Nothing. There's an absolutely zilch show. It's just talking about anointed. So they'll talk about how many numbers there are of them, Jehovah's Witnesses, and they look a bit inflated to me. The 2023 report, 8.8 million. I think there's a lot that have left. And nothing's really changed in the lands. So I go onto the good old internet and I ask the internet a JW chart on anointed each year. All I can find is these people, whoever does JW Facts, .com. They did something really nice on it. I'm gonna leave this link in the descriptions below, but they talk all about it. It's the Watchtower long said the selection of 144,000 anointed class was closed in 1935. And since then, the number of anointed Jehovah's Witnesses began decreasing as they passed away. And in 2007, it was admitted there's no scriptural basis for the doctrine of 1935, after which memorial partakers have been on the increase. And there's a video here. This guy talks about it a little bit. Let's see what he says.
Anointed ones left on earth. In 2011, the Watchtower said, a number of factors, including past religious beliefs or even mental or emotional imbalance, might cause some to assume mistakenly that they have the heavenly calling. We thus have no way of knowing the exact number of anointed ones on earth, nor do we need to know.
So I thought that was interesting. They thought you had a mental problem if you were going to take the emblems. And when I was in it, that's kind of the way it was. If you were going to take the emblems and you were just a rank and file like me and you had problems at home with your kids and your wife, they'd think I'd have mental problems. So you wouldn't take it, right? Even though every time that bread and wine passed around, you just, oh, should I eat it? Should I drink it? You know? Like, why can't I be Jesus' brother, right? So anyways, JW Facts really did this. They brought some numbers to us. And they show right up to 2017, the partakers, it's on the increase from 2005. It was 8,500. Now it's up to 18,564 by 2017. And that had to get these guys worried, right? So here's the chart, partakers since 1948. And I don't know where the sudden change, maybe there's going to be an influx. He's talking about a sudden change. Maybe there's going to be a whole pile of more memorial partakers. They're kind of beefing it up. They're talking about, like, look, I was 19 years ago, I was a young guy anointed, in the Bethel. He would have been anointed before that. 2023, I thought this was interesting. Here's the 2023 numbers. These guys have it. Over 20,000, 22,000, I think, memorial partakers was the number I seen. Here it is. They actually have the numbers, the year. All the numbers all the way up to 2023, 22,312. How did they find that number? I couldn't find it on JW.org. So these guys have access to some inside information, perhaps. If you guys are out in the comments and you know about this, let me know. I'd be interested to see where they're getting these numbers. But this is a really good article. It shows that they're worried. And, Russell was anointed. All those guys were anointed. So what's going on? Are they going to change their doctrine once more? Are they going to come out and say, you know what, this whole number thing, well, there's a new change. I think that's what's going to come out. But anyways, what do I know? Well, folks, what I do know is keep living your life with love. And if you forget about this channel, well, get a hat. You see this hat there? It has the name of the channel on it, Fixing My Faith. You can get it in the store below. And I wanted to mention a comment that was left on our channel from Raymond. And they went into Discord and discorded us on our channel and said, thank you, good wife. Got my hat, looking good, appreciate it. And so thank you, Raymond, for getting one of the hats. They are good hats. I like the hat. It's actually woven in, and it's a nice jean hat. You can wear it all over the place. So anyways, folks, until next time, keep living your life with love. We'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.